All right, guys, here we go. It's going to be a massive fight study on the trilogy of Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Right? Obviously, the first fight very competitive. The next fight, no mas. Most people know what happened, but still, we're gonna go through it. And then the last fight when they were older. All right, big, massive, long fight study video. We're gonna see how it goes. First shot at it. If you like this type of stuff, make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, comment below, drop a super thanks for the time that we get to spend together and go through this boxing history and learn something. Now, before we get into it, remember, this fight study is not for people that are just fanboys, okay? If you're a fanboy, turn this off, okay? If you don't want to treat these two guys like men, the men they are, okay? Don't have false idols, all right? I don't care what religion you are. You can agree with that, or lack of religion. Don't have false idols, right? Don't worship other human beings, okay? You can respect them, you can appreciate them, and you can learn things from them, but don't have false idols. Apply that with the conversations we're going to be having as we study these three fights. And before we get into it, I want to make it very clear my intentions. Educational, not to disparage anybody, right? You know, critiques that I make, I'm not saying I could do it any better. And I'm not saying I trained anybody that can do it any better. But it's all about learning, all right? And to be clear, Roberto Duran, one of the greatest lightweights in the history of boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the greatest welterweights in the history of boxing. They are elite level champions in their own right, okay? But this is how two styles go against each other, how two different fighters go against each other. The advantages and disadvantages, all right, that you need to know about if you're serious about this sport called boxing. All right, so let's jump into it. Obviously, most people know a lot about Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. And I'll have you know too, by the way, I went through these fights and watched them all before watching it through here again. I mean, I've seen them back a long time ago with my father. Now, of course, you have Ray Arcel, Freddie Brown in the corner. Freddie Brown spent most of the time working with Duran. And then, of course, with Dundee, I'm blanking on the other coach for Sugar Ray Leonard, but Dundee would come in a couple weeks before the fight. You know, not that Dundee didn't have great insights and things like that. But anyway, let's talk about it strategically, what's going on with this fight. So as we know, the build-up to this fight is Duran, you know, doing a lot of crap talking to Leonard that perhaps enticed Leonard to want to try to beat him up, which led to the style of fight it is. But now see, right away, we see Duran bull rush and Leonard step off to the side, curve step before he hits the rope. And Duran relies on people not having the best footwork, and then at this weight, which this fight is at welterweight, the power isn't exactly as deadly as it was at lightweight, right? But see, right there, you see Leonard showing the lateral movement and Duran tending to rush. There was a good right hand as Duran leans off. Good right hand by Leonard. And of course, the more that Ray can establish his jab, or either man establishes jab, the better they're going to be. Now, one thing that's interesting to notice is the little hesitation on Duran, right? That little pause before he shoots gives Leonard time to get off. I know many people have struggled with this. I've struggled with this, where you get in close and then you kind of just don't do anything for a moment. Now, as you can see here, look at this position. This is going to be a very important position to know about throughout their three fights. So again, Duran comes in nicely, or rather very aggressively, okay? Comes in. And now see, he reaches out with the arms. Okay, so the arms are reaching out. See where his arms are? Who's hugging who? Who's hugging who? And now Leonard gets the underhooks. Now he's hugging Duran. But Duran put his arms out to be, because you know he's a fighter. Duran is. He's a fighter. He's a boxer, but he's also a little bit of a brawler. And to be clear, I don't mean he's unskilled. He's very skilled. You have to be to get this level. But he has that brawler type mentality, right? There's a lack of refining that Duran has, and that little lack of refining plays out in these fights. Okay? So again, lunging in, and Leonard wraps him up as Duran extends his arms out. Okay? It takes two to tango. If you have your arms in tight to you as you come in, it's going to be pretty hard to wrap someone up. Now, there's ways that people can grab the top of your head, which Leonard does do in this fight. Now, here's good explosions by the two men, and then Leonard shuts it down. But Duran is getting off. Right now you can see, that was a good combination there by Leonard. Tried to hook to the body. And right there you see Duran have hooks. And so this is, again, so you see a lot of stuff, right? A lot of stuff out there by people talking about different ways that Duran would reach out and maneuver people's guards on the inside. Well, that's all well and good if somebody wants to not spoil your party, right? You can go out for a picnic without an umbrella if it doesn't rain. But if it rains, you got to get an umbrella. And Leonard already in this fight is creating a situation where he needs a little bit of umbrella. So see, Duran, good uppercut to the body and a left hook by Leonard as he comes in and he steps off to the side, or kind of falls off to the side, but he's getting around and off the ropes. And that's obviously where Leonard does not need to be, is on the ropes, because that's where Duran can do everything he wants to do. And the two things that Duran needs cooperation from with Leonard in this fight is for Leonard to stay on the ropes, to not move laterally, to not jab, to not throw combinations, and to not tie him up. Now, again, to be clear, like we all know, tying up is technically illegal, right? It's technically illegal. But you know what makes it hard? I'm not saying the ref would have, I think it's Carlos Padilla in this fight. I'm not saying the ref would have enforced it either way, but what makes it hard is that both men are reaching their arms out, right? But you see here, Duran comes in with the hard bull rush. And because he's bull rushing in, he closes the space too much, right? He gets too close, not in a measured position to get the proper punches off. And now right there, that's a roughhouse tactic by Leonard, where he just grabbed the head. Not good. Not a good move there. Technically legal. You do that as an amateur or as a pro, you're going to have some troubles. See, a little bit too close for Duran, all right? And that's where the key for Duran getting in better position is going to be the jab. Now, the aggression, of course, is by Duran, but what the important thing to remember is effective aggression. And most people know the outcome of this fight. You see good rhythm by Duran. One thing is Duran's chin tends to be up. He not only has hands of stone, but he has a chin of stone as well. That tends to be underappreciated, like when he fought Iron Barkley. Now, that's a great 2-1. The announcers, or the commentators say it incorrectly, that it was a 2-3. It was truly like a 2-1. The left came up the middle. And that rocked. That's a great thing to catch people with, because Leonard was expecting the hook off of that too. Okay? So right here, there's the 2, and here Duran comes. He starts to loop it around, but it's almost a little bit like an uppercut, like a very long uppercut, right? Some YouTube people might call this the smash punch. No, we're just going to call it like a 1 or an uppercut, long uppercut, straight shot up the middle. Leonard, if it was a hook, Duran wouldn't have got it. Great combination, and wobbles. That's the power of Duran, even coming up to welterweight. And Leonard shuts him down. And one thing that I do like that Padilla does in this fight, assuming I'm getting his name correct, I might be wrong because I know I'm doing this with no sound, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Carlos Padilla, is that he does start removing, great combination there by, and see, that's where Duran's being a little more measured. See, because even though he's not landing the jabs, he's at least putting it out there, putting out the arm that allows for something more measured. And then as Leonard dives down, he catches him with the 45 uppercut hook style shots. That's what Duran needs to do to be victorious. One of the things he needs to do. Okay. Now, inside punches, as both men have their arms wrapped around each other. Of course, this first round is a 15-round fight. Duran relies a lot on the pulls and pulling his chin back from jabs, which is going to be challenging against a guy with longer reach. It's going to automatically put you a step behind when you're trying to attack. So there again, Duran sets up with a jab nice, and then falls in with the right hand just a little too much. And that's what equals his, wrestling stuff. And, you definitely could, you could give Leonard, I mean, we're not going to lie, Leonard is a favorite. I'd say he's probably more of a favorite than Duran. But that's where if you're Duran, you got to have the answers for fighting the favorites, right? I mean, obviously he's going up in weight, okay, so that is what it is. But of course, he had success against other fighters. Here's that great kind of straight left up the middle, really like a left cross, right? That's the term that I'm liking recently. This is another way to say it to help people understand it. If you watched the last video I did with the Emmanuel Stewart fight study or training study, here it is again. Great sequence here. The jab, the two, boom, gets that left straight up the middle. Beautiful shot. And now see, he gets just a little too close. Whereas if we take that little step back, like Joe Louis might do, and some other great fighters, then Leonard can't smother him down and wrap him up. Okay, as a man is reaching out, you have to take a little step back, or be throwing compactly enough to hit him, right? But not trying to reach your arms out. So again, you see, just to beat the dead horse on the point. So Duran comes in. Look where Duran's arm is. He's reaching out right now around Leonard, and then Leonard just says, "Hey, you want to give that to me? I'll wrap it up." And now Duran's trying to pull it out, but of course, there's better ways he could pull it out. But that's the trouble, and that's why I'm not a big fan. I'm not saying it doesn't ever work, but I'm not a big fan of a lot of fighters working on reaching out to maneuver the guard and things like that excessively, because naturally you want to wrestle in there. Naturally, guys, when they get close or come in hard charging, they'll reach out with their arms to wrap, because that's a natural. This is a great work here by Duran. Here, as far as having his arms out and still throwing, right? Great examples. A lot of people have highlighted, and great sequences here. Okay, but again, he's pushing his arms out. And you can say, oh, it's to mute the hand, right, or whatever the hell. I can't blanket on the term of it. To shut down and nullify an arm. But again, the problem is that gives Leonard something to wrap on. See, great work here by Duran. Good goal. Good with the uppercuts. Someone holds you, or you have your left arm out around them. Man, mixing those uppercuts like that. Those jackhammer uppercuts is what I call them. And then Leonard with a very nice, crisp. See, Leonard's punches, while they might not be quite as powerful, they are more crisp. They are more in the pocket. And whenever you're throwing more in the pocket against someone with a little bit more wide punches, you're going to tend to be more successful. Tend to is the key word. But see, right there, Duran could pull his arm out. Right there, Duran has his arm wrapped around Leonard, and Padilla had to slap it down. Right there, he's having to slap down the man's arm. If Padilla can slap down the man's arm, the man can take down his arm and take it out. All right? And again, I'm a fan of Roberto Duran. Mad respect for Roberto Duran. Great fighter. Man, got caught right there. But these are just facts. We're not here to worship anyone. If you want to go worship people, go to a different video. Here's a great little sidestep there by Duran. While Leonard is doing the wrong thing, hanging on the ropes, trying to fight off the ropes. I had a fighter do this recently in an amateur fight. He's feeling confident, so he was trying to just fight off the ropes like this, and wasn't the best idea in interest of getting the win. And he learned his lesson. And of course, this is where Leonard, at a high level, let emotions get the best of him. let Duran get in his head a little bit, and he tried to go mano a mano. It made it a very competitive fight. Good turn with the left hook, and right now Leonard does have that wrap on Duran. And good job. So this is a great thing. So if you are in a position where you get a wrap on somebody, and then to throw like this off of it, get in the body, oh my gosh. The flurry combinations is one of Leonard's secrets to success, right? The way he can put those combos together, because think about it. If you're boxing someone, think about it particularly as an amateur. One thing I love about Ray Arcelis, he comes up here on the rope, see that, right before the bell, and just so he's in there right away. See how fast he is? Duran's already sit down and relaxing, and Leonard's still, still trying to get to his corner. It still hasn't sat down. Stool's not in. In my mind, that's something that Ray Arcel was really big about, was how to work a corner. And if you want to see how to work a corner, he's the guy to watch. Anyway, one thing that gives Leonard the advantage a lot of times in his fights is that he will let those showy flurries go, and he'll land off of it too. But you see that type of those combinations coming together in those 3-4 punch combinations versus the 1-2 punch. It's easy for the judges to lean your way when you're doing punches and bunches. Okay, here, make sure my quality is up on this video. Yep, it is. Awesome. Okay. Now we do see some good feinting in this fight. There's a feint. Leonard tried to relax himself out a little bit there. Good feint and almost a good hook by Duran. Might have been a little bit hit with the forearm. See, Leonard's now box a little smarter, right? Not trying to be overly aggressive. Looks like he's trying to time Duran coming in, mixing in the feints again to try to keep Duran at bay. And we see little telltale signs of what could happen in this fight. But now Leonard just goes for the tie-up, which he improves upon in the next fight. But again, Duran comes in so hard, which is good to come in hard. But we got to come in hard with proper footwork and positioning. And when we get in there he pulls his arms out. We don't need to reach our arms out. It's just such a natural habit. People reach out to grab. Because again, that's natural. Boxing is not natural. Wrestling is more natural, in my opinion, than boxing is. A great right hand counter there by Duran. But see, now he gets just a little too close. If he would just give himself a little bit more room, the tie-up would not happen quite as much. And again, you can say that Padilla could do a better job of enforcing that not to happen, but you might find yourself in this exact same position. And again, you see Duran reaching out and trying to grab, trying to do the stuff that people have praised Duran for, manipulating the guard and whatnot by reaching his arms out. But it plays into a tough time with Leonard, even in this fight. He could have made this fight more his side by not doing that, and it would have changed some of the aspects of the following fight, particularly some things with the way he attacks, is what we'll talk about in the next fight. Great combinations by both men here, snappy combinations in the pocket. Outside of the holding, you want to see a good inside fight. This is a pretty damn good inside fight. Better ones is like Chavez. Julio Cesar Chavez's fights. I'm blanking on some of the other guys he fought for examples, but you want to watch someone work the inside and not get held like Duran does? Watch Chavez. Good job with the right hand, the 1-2. And see, Duran gets in this good rhythm, and that's to his benefit. Then he turns, and he does it the right way. Okay? He takes his left arm, maneuvers him to the ropes, so he can get his shots off. And oh man, good there by both men. What a hell of a fight. But again, see there, Leonard goes with the flurry combinations to finish the round, which is obviously a trademark of Leonard. And then he'll push him down because I'm not saying he should or shouldn't, but he'll push him down because Duran is leaning at the waist hard on the inside oftentimes. There's a great example of the jab, extended left arm getting in the way of the right hand. He was shooting out the jab, and that arm got in the way. Then he got hit by that left hand. Great job going up the middle with that, DURAN did. Again, love Ray Arcel with lifting DURAN off the stool. Again, I read, had a comb in the corner with some guys and comb their hair, make them all look nice and wonderful going out for the next round. And psychologically, that's a benefit, because you think, man, I just been beating this guy up. There's a great step in with the left hook. Great. See, again, step in with the left hook. A lot of people tell you not to do it. I tell you, that's how I land on my left hooks. And if you jab enough, it's a brilliant move, and it will land a lot. But if you just lead with left hooks all the time, that's where you might experience the adage of running into a right hand. Okay? One thing is, you think about, well, there you go. There's a good example of DURAN picking up the arms to swim out of getting held. But again, he'll go right back to reaching out with the arms. Okay, he's got to keep the arms a little closer to his body, and that is where, I know I give the peekaboo style a lot of hell, but that's where training a little bit more of a peekaboo style is beneficial, because the arms are close to you, right? Or you could be more like James Toney-ish style and have the hand close to your chest and the left hand low close to your waist, or really like a Henry Armstrong style, and you're not going to have these problems. Well, great short combos by DURAN. And again, the falling in with that right hand, is what makes him vulnerable to getting shut down. He's doing a good job, though, of mauling Leonard on the ropes right now. There, Padilla pulls the arm out. And see, Leonard doesn't need to be there. So he goes right back to the rope. Leonard doesn't need to do that. Good attempt for the body shots here. Here we get some good uppercuts for the body from both men. I tend to, when I box, to left too much of the hooks to the body. Good combination there. And I remember seeing in one coach's highlights that's saying that he blocked all that. He's getting hit by some of that, man. And Leonard's not the hardest body puncher, but it has an effect. But think about this, is that DURAN is comfortable with this type of fight, right? And that's something that's important to remember, is that, obviously Leonard is playing into his, great right hand by Leonard. Leonard's playing into DURAN's strong suit, which is, again, to maul, to brawl, right? To be on the inside, push up against people, and almost wrestle box, right? It is, though, great seeing two champions like this going toe-to-toe and really ripping, right? Really ripping. And again, do you throw your punches like this when you shadow box? Okay? You can say they're sloppy all day long. They're actually, great uppercut and great hook. But you can see Leonard is rotating the body. You see DURAN rotating the body with these hooks, these uppercuts. That's how you got to throw. You want to get in condition for a hard fight like this, you got to throw your punches like this that are going to miss. How often have these guys missed? A lot. If they both landed the majority of what they've thrown, great sharp hook again by Leonard. But again, DURAN, he's not only manos de piedra, he's, cabeza piedra. Good turn by Leonard. There, Leonard goes for the guillotine, right? Not a good move to do, but this is where DURAN does lead with the head, which theoretically should open up for the uppercuts, but he's not. Leonard's not taking the chance on it, because it can be dangerous against someone who's a hard hitter to try to lead with too many uppercuts. There's a good body shot, and see, though, after that, Leonard doesn't need to even be there. He just needs to hit it, step off to the side. One thing as well was that DURAN tends to go, left, right, left on his attacks. If he double, triple up, he'd be a little bit more successful. Oh man, great head-ringing combination by Leonard. But again, you look at who's controlling the fight, and in close rounds where there's a lot of back and forth, you know, Duran has the ring control, the ring generalship. You know, it's one thing if Leonard was a Floyd Mayweather type defensive fighter where you don't get hit by any of it, or largely any of it, or get hit by so few of it that you can get away with it. But if it's anywhere close to a 50-50 exchange, or even a 60-40 of you know, you landing to them landing, it can be trouble to sit on the ropes, right? Obviously, from a pure tactical standpoint, it allows them to tee off, and you know, you have limited options about what you can do defensively and footwork wise. But also, in the eye of the judges, oh man, again, a lot of trading while the other guy is trading, which there comes to more important fundamentals. You'll notice one guy is getting his head snapped a little bit more than the other guy. You tell me who you think that is in this fight. And I want to be real clear. You know, if you're going to talk about fanboy, I'm equally a fan of both of these people. If anything, I'm actually, because of my dad, I'm more of a fan of Duran naturally. But I'm going to talk a little bit later in the rematch. Great jab. Jab meets jab right there. Jab meets jab right there. Boom. Both guys jabbed. One guy got the better of the jab. There Padilla goes to... see, Duran's already sitting down because Leonard... because Arcel was already in there. Good slip in the uppercut there by Duran. Slip, boom, body shot. And that's something too to remember if you are Leonard in this situation. Someone slips past your jab, don't try to pull the jab back, leave it out there and wrap it around him like he did, or press down on him. It's a very annoying tactic that I would not teach to my people, because people would do that crap to me. But if I'm coaching you and you're Sugar Ray Leonard, man, hey, and we're getting away with it, let's do it. There, Leonard has the clear, you know, just underhooks. And again, if Duran did not reach the arms out much at all, then the ref can make a very clear case for Leonard holding, warnings, and then take points. All right. And again, I'm a boxing purist, man. I'm not a fan of holding. Not a fan of holding. See there, Leonard had the arm around the head like how Ali would do to people. That was a good job with Leonard trying to measure him as he came in. Oh, man, good. Great little combo there by Duran as he turned hook, boom, or uppercut, uppercut. Those short uppercuts on the inside, the lead uppercut, is there a lot more than you realize. Your hand is oftentimes, if it's not wrapped around him like Duran's is more than half the time throughout this fight, is right there for you to hit. A lot of people think the rear uppercut, the left uppercut, or the lead uppercut, like there it was, you saw it by Duran, is right there to be hit. Or right there to be landed. Right there. Something, too, I remember my dad talking about, and it's a good point, is the haircut. The haircut of Duran hurts Duran. A lot of these guys, you know, he doesn't quite have a bowl haircut, but a lot of these guys, you know, these white guys back in the 70s and stuff like that with their bowl haircuts, you know, they get hit, you see their hair whip. Much better to have the crew cut. Or to shave it. Obviously, back then, that was weird. But it makes it much more clear, or it makes you look like you got hit sometimes when you just whipped your head around. Good head movement there by Duran and a slight turn. And see, you know, you can say that right here, look at Duran's left arm. You could say he's controlling and stopping his right arm, right? There's a lot of people talk about this stuff, and like that is a thing, right? They're trapping the other arm. But again, against the guy that's trying to tie you up, this gives him the opportunity to tie you up if he wants to. Leonard doesn't do it in this instance, but he easily could. Just scoop around it and tie it up. But right now, Leonard's just trying to ink out the round. Good short shots there by Duran. Hook to the body, hook to the head by Duran. That's a great sequence right there. Boom. Oh, yeah. High-low. High-low. Classic. But see again how Duran falls in with the head hard. We can't do that. We can't do that this often. Against a guy that doesn't want to dance with us the way we want to dance, they can give you trouble. And see, Duran almost turned the back on that. Oh, nice turn there by Leonard. Again, you don't realize how much feinting is going on. Nice. Leonard tried to catch him coming in. And that's where you need to realize you need to do a lot of feinting when you box. We don't practice feinting enough when we shadow box. We don't do it when we work the bag. And we don't do it when we spar. We don't do it when we fight enough. Most of the elite level does. You just honestly, frankly, barely realize it. And a lot of times when you see guys kind of twitching in boxing, they're reacting to feints. Or feinting, like we're seeing with Duran. Duran has a good rhythm, though. Oh, man. You guys, this is where a tough fight to score, especially with this crappy video. You know, not down on the channel that has this video up. Thank goodness you do, but very pixelated. You want to see you want to see this fight in person, released with super ultra high def, and that is what makes it very hard to score. So, like, you know, right there, it looks like Leonard got the better of that because of how Duran's reacting. But again, a lot of these rounds are very, very close, and Duran is the aggressor. There, Duran's goofing off a little bit off the miss. There he's jabbing, but man, he's jabbing so high. Look how high he is when he's jabbing. See, he's high up with the chin, and that's problematic. Someone just goes down, gets under you, right? You need to get a little bit lower when you jab in. Good feint in the jab by Leonard. And then occupying more of the center of the ring. This is where Leonard has to go back to his more amateur days in this fight in a lot of ways and occupy the center, not play on the ropes like he's doing. Or rather, he's not playing on the ropes, he's fighting off the ropes. But, you know, again, that is that's getting Duran to where Duran wants to be. Yep, there's Leonard did that kind of up jab, almost uppercut jab style shot, caught Duran with it, snapped his head. See, Leonard has the faster reflexes, even though he's the bigger guy, and he has the more versatile tool set. Okay, you know, again, Duran is not devoid of technique. He's not devoid of tools and many things to do, but Leonard has a more extensive one because also he has more of extensive amateur experience. So even though in some ways, oh good, again, there's the uppercut kind of jackhammer by Duran with the right uppercuts as the left arm is kind of being held. But Duran has less amateur experience, and Leonard has, I'm not sure quite how many, but I mean, he at least has over 50 amateur fights. Fought at international levels, obviously, since he was an Olympian as an amateur. And this plays into a little bit of advantage of ring experience, ring control. You know, even though you can make an argument for some of the things that he does as being amateurish, well, there's a great example of something I work on with some of my guys. So right there, you see Duran. Did he shoot a punch? Looked like he kind of shot a punch. Duran maybe shot a punch, or just reached out with the arm. Not even. But you see how he put his right shoulder in the way to deflect the hook and kind of lean off to the side. Great way to avoid punches. It's not only the lead shoulder you can roll with, it's the rear shoulder as well. You can have your hands down and block punches with your shoulders. Good little sidestep there by Duran. Okay, here we go into round number 9. Great thrilling fight between these two guys. So again, Leonard gets the better of the jab. Right here. Boom. And you see Duran is just kind of waiting for that bull rush. So his jab, maybe here and there. Um, but you can tell he's kind of set. There it is. There it is, right? He's looking for how I can bull rush in. And it's not the best thing to do. You got to be a little bit more strategic with it. Crosses the feet over, leans in with the head, ends up right there in a position where you can't do that much work. And again, these are just telltale signs of what is going to be detrimental to Duran in the next fight. It was detrimental in this fight because he would have beat him better, right? Again, I know I'm Monday morning quarterbacking him 40 years later, but nevertheless, we're watching this for what reason? We're not watching this because you're a fanboy of boxing. I'm not a fanboy of boxing. I've grown up past being a fan. I do this from a coaching perspective, and that's it. I don't have favorites. I don't have guys I like more than other guys. I mean, maybe you could say I have guys I like more than other guys that are a little bit more foundationally sound in the sense that it positively benefited their career. That's good. They're even with a slower jab like that. Ooh, see, great example. Great example. More of this, Mr. Duran. The jab and the hook. Could have done a jab, hook, right uppercut. Bam. Run him right into it. That's the type of work he needs to be doing. I'm sure probably Ray Orsel's telling him that. Or Freddie Brown. Now Leonard's starting to do good circling in this round. And see, Duran can box, but he lets his natural abilities take over too much. He lets that fighter in him take over a little too much, which again you could say that's why he won the way he did, But still, there's refining. Refining that didn't have to get made because of his ferociousness, his power, his toughness. Good uppercuts there by Duran. And again, if Duran is trying to trap arms, he's getting tied up on it. Right there. Tied up, shut down. Because there Leonard is not holding in this situation. Leonard's not trying to hold at all. Ooh, great short shots there by Leonard. Made a little bit of space. Again, a very back and forth fight. A lot closer than people realize. There, Duran shot a much tighter left hook. Boom, right inside of Leonard's punch. Again, that's something to train, is to quote unquote tighten your shots up, which doesn't mean get tight with them, still keep them loose, but throw them with the shoulders, throwing them more in the box. And that's how you'll win exchanges. A lot of times with ladies' fights, women's boxing, they'll one girl will start, the other girl will start, and they'll go the same exact time. The person with slightly better timing or the person with more compact shots that are in the box is going to land more. And that's how it is sometimes in this fight. And sometimes that favors Leonard, but sometimes Leonard gets wide because he's trying to do his best to hurt Duran. But it's very hard to hurt Duran. And because of that, Duran will get a slightly more in the box shot on him. A more compact shot. And when I mean compact, I mean in the sense of you are throwing down a hallway, right? You have walls to each side of you. So a non-compact shot would be punches you can throw in the middle of the field because you can wind up and be wide like you're hitting people with baseballs or baseball bats. Compact means you can throw in a hallway with walls on your right side and your left side, and you're still throwing hooks and uppercuts. Those are compact shots. See, Duran's trying to push him back. Good uppercut to the body by Duran. And Leonard's pushing him back, right? But again, it's not quite the fight that a guy like Leonard is quite built for, or he has the aptitude for. He's showing he can do it. Just shows how all good fighters, great fighters, can adapt. Slip to the inside left hook. Great counter there by Leonard. You notice how Duran tends to, after the jab, lean to his right side. Right there. And that's a default that allows Leonard to get the right hand sometimes. That's a good job from having the arm out extended position and Leonard kind of holding him on it to throwing hooks off of that, right? If you are going to hold or kind of, play to the edge of the rules, which I talk about is a good thing to do sometimes, you want to also be able to do the rules off of it, to throw off of it. Don't just shut people down. If Leonard was doing what some guys do in fights, he would have been probably DQ'd or, it's a moral victory for Duran in the sense that if Leonard was just hugging, we've all seen fights like that where one guy just wants to hug. Leonard doesn't just want to hug in this fight, and that's why he has my respect, because he's obviously he's a champion, great fighter, but even though he is employing some tactics, he is going balls to the wall over 15 rounds. Round 11. See, they go right in like two grizzly bears, right in the pocket again. And again, this favors the more rugged Duran, the street fighter. Really. You'll notice how Duran's head movement a lot of times is just, erratic, slamming his head up and down, almost like his head banging. There's a use for that head movement. And this is where at a high level you see a guy doing it and having success with it. It is a good thing to do, slamming it off to the side like that. He just slams it up and down. The long hair makes him look like he's freaking headbanging. It is effective to get away from some shots. Man, great by Leonard throwing on the way back. Now, if he would just curve a little bit, so he doesn't end up right on those ropes, that's a great thing to do. Because against a guy like Duran, you're not going to discourage him. Especially when he's in his zone right now. This deep in the fight, and it's back and forth, and he knows he's connected a lot on Ray. You're not going to discourage him at this point. He knows he's got enough, and he feels like he can break you down, like he's broken other guys down before. See there, Duran goes to hold. Almost did it again. Good short overhand right there by Leonard. But again, let's not be in that proximity where we're on the ropes. Be great to see Leonard turn him. Great uppercut and step over by Leonard. By Duran. See, now you're going to call me biased, right? Here. Boom. Bam. Slip by Ray. Tried to jab out this. Oh, there he turned him. But then, to Duran's credit, turned him right back around. As he's up to Leonard to be a little bit sharper and get back around. I do like how Padilla slaps arms down. You see again. See whose arms he's slapping. Whose arm is he about to slap? Okay, for any of you guys in the comments that are gonna say, "Oh man, what are you talking about? Leonard was holding them the whole time." Okay? There's no reason for it. You could say because Duran wants a rest, but arguably, look at that. Leonard got the rest. And again, I see guys so often where, what you do in practice and what you do here and there becomes habitual. And you habitually shut yourself down. And I don't want to see you do that. I've had too many guys that will reach out subconsciously and tie themselves up and hold. And I know that they're not purposely trying to hold, and they will hold. See, there Leonard grabs the back of the head. Again, leaning in with the head, easy thing to let someone do to you or to encourage someone to do, but it is illegal. The ref could, if this was a more, on the level fight on both guys, where only one guy is the one committing the holds and rough tactics, then I can definitely see an easy argument for penalizing Leonard for it. Leonard is the favorite. I'm not saying Padilla would do it, But I can see an argument for it. But when both guys, like we're talking about, are holding, you're not going to penalize one guy for it. And if you penalize both of them, you just evened out the fight. Like no one, I saw one ref do that. I can't remember what fight that was. That was maybe in the past 10 years. Big famous fight, or at least, televised big fight where the ref took a point from both guys in the same round. So it made zero difference. It was a 9-9 round instead of a 10-10 round, automatic. And it was just whoever, got the round then, as far as boxing wise. So it was a no point, right? Winner got 9, loser got 8. There, DURAN kept a little bit better space, but then falls in. And again, that's where the roughness, it's spoiling a little bit of the work he wants to get done. And how much he could break down Leonard. Because against a guy like Davey Moore, obviously not as great of a fighter as Leonard, but Davey Moore was going to be more cooperative. Leonard's not being cooperative. Obviously, right here. And again, like I was saying, I can't blame the ref because both guys are roughhousing. If it's one guy, you can make a case for it. Now you notice though, when you have someone wrapped up, you do want to walk them to the ropes. You have someone wrapped up, you want to walk them to the ropes. Why is that? Because now you minimize how much ring they have. You can do whatever you want, theoretically. And you maximize the ring you have around you, right? So you basically put them against the wall, and now you're in a field, right? And that's beneficial. That's where you see both guys try to employ this tactic. You gotta love the shovel shots by both men. Again, pushing down on the exactly. Yep, no pushing down on the head. That's something that both of them are not doing to each other. Only Leonard is doing that foul. But both guys are committing the foul of holding and wrapping. Good jab there by Leonard. I notice how when you jab with DURAN, he doesn't often catch, if ever. And that's that basic boxing technique you see so many great fighters do, is jabbing and catching. He has his hand up here by the side of his face. Like, what good is it going to do there? Particularly when you're coming in, right? If you're worried about someone's hook, I understand. But when you're rushing in like DURAN is, you probably want to put the right hand in front of your face. Also, the right hand would get there faster. He's a little bit cocked back there in a sense. And if he would keep it in front of his face as he came in, he would stop the jab that he ends up getting hit by often, but then also speed up the time for his right hand. And this is where, again, attacking with more straight punches, just by their very nature, are going to create a barrier between you and your opponent. So there we go, back on the inside. Round 13. I was just talking to someone the other day. This is where so many things are subjective with boxing. Like what's a clean, effective shot versus not, or not as clean and effective, right? Again, we can all see clearly what's not a clean shot. Well, that was a clean shot and effective shot, right? The right uppercut for the body and the left hook up top. Great combination you can do every day of the week. Boom, boom. Man, he tried to double it up too. Caught Ray trying to pull out from it. Great spin there back by Ray. Again, a great back and forth action. Again, though, to go back to that, okay? Because, again, just because we know the seeds that are coming up later, DURAN could have got more of what he wanted if he wouldn't have got that close afterwards, right? So he's here. Boom, boom. Right there. The man is hurt, okay? Now we're getting a little too close. Maybe a little step back? No. Reaches his arm around, gets tied up, and that makes it so Leonard can spin him around. Okay? We all know who wins this first fight, but man, we could have won it better. And then changed the course of history for the next fight, too. Which we'll talk about when we get there. There we go again to the tie-up situation, right? So it becomes a needlessly repeating factor. Oh, man, great there by Mr. DURAN. See, this is where DURAN is just getting more and more in his rhythm, and gets that nice left hook right in the middle of the combination. Someone unloads a combination on you, man, throw it right inside of what they're doing. He goes here, tries to do, because he goes right, left, right. He always does this combination. Boom! You catch him with that left hook. Great. See, that's a great knowledgeable thing there by DURAN. And between those two shots, round winning. Now there he gets hit by the jab, but that's not round losing, right? He's still round winning. I mean, it wasn't a very hard jab either, but that's where it's almost like DURAN dares you to hit him in the chin. Now you see here how Leonard is pushing him back a little bit. One thing is when you have a guy leaning on you, push him back a little bit, just enough so you can spin him, right? You have someone leaning in like DURAN is, boring in like that, give him a little bit of resistance. There, DURAN lands nicely. See, this is why DURAN gets this fight. Man, all the 15 rounds go into it for DURAN winning the fight. But when you have a guy pushing in like that on you, give him a little bit of resistance back to make him push just a little bit harder, and then take the floor out from under him by taking a quick step back, throwing a combination, or turning, because then they got that forward momentum. But see there, Leonard pushes DURAN back to the rope, showing that he's macho, right? Really, it's like Leonard's fighting in a way to earn DURAN's respect, getting hit by DURAN's sharp, loose punches. And again, something that, I know I've been saying things like DURAN, Street Fighter, this, that, and the other thing. He throws loosely and hard, which is just how you want to throw if you're a good pro fighter. That was a great sequence there by DURAN. He goes for the body here. Oh, hold on. Let me go back here a little bit. So the 1-2 hook here, body shots, 2, 1, gets him with the 1, almost gets him with the 2. Both jerking shots by both men. And this is moments like this where you say, what a fight, right? There, DURAN gets his hooks off inside of Leonard's punches. Man, Leonard got a big right hand there. Both men are doing a good job of getting out of the way of the biggest punch, right? By just a few inches. Then they go back again to literally boom, again like two grizzly bears, right? Both men want to win this fight. It's a fight of will at this point. Not as much boxing technique as you could desire, right? If you're looking from a pure tactical standpoint, they're good uppercuts to the body there. And that's something that, good left hook up top. That's something you want more of when you're an amateur. They're going to score those more. And also, if you learn to throw them properly as a pro, you can generate a lot of power, really hurt people with those shots. There, Leonard tries to come around with the hooks that time. It's good that DURAN shot that jab, leaped in with it, but then it ends up right into this space here. Versus a jab that's more of the measuring stick, a jab that's going to more so establish a range to get his hardish punches off. Again, falling in with the head, but he got some great shots before it happened. And that's one thing you could make the case for, that you throw your punches sometimes and you fall in, you completely smother yourself. Well, if you got the better of the exchange, the other guy's in a position where he can't get anything off. It's a similar idea to the idea of tying somebody up, right? So you can throw your combinations, and I would recommend more so just smothering, which, DURAN is doing an element of smothering by falling in, right? And also stepping in. But that's something that's important to have to remember as well, because this is a winning performance by DURAN, is he'll throw his combination or throw his punches, and then he'll smother Leonard down. This is good by DURAN. He got kind of tied up in that situation, walked Leonard back. Oh man, good exchange right here. There's the uppercut inside of the hook. That was nice. Here. And then puts his head in a little bit. The uppercut. right inside of the hook, and then comes back with his own left hook, catches Leonard while he's still stuck on the end of his hook. Mm. Good sharp left hooks there by DURAN. Falling in at the waist right there. And that is the challenge, is that, again, you can fall at the waist. You know, you can almost name every great fighter has done that, or at least a lot of them. A lot of the greatest fighters have done that. But it's still, there's that famous showboat thing. But if you're practicing that move all the time of bending the waist hard, it's going to be problems against a guy who has an answer. It's funny, that big bolo, you know, loopy, fun shot didn't truly land well, but, you know. Again, Leonard is the master, man, of, well, there's a good quick little sidestep turn there by Leonard. He's showing, you know, signs of what he can do, but what he's not choosing to do, or what he didn't mentally prepare himself to do, or what he lost. You know, mano y mano in this fight. It's really what this fight should have been called. Is mano y mano, then the next fight was no mas. Of course, supposedly DURAN didn't say no mas in the rematch. So last round, here we are. And that's where these fights can be sometimes, you know, maybe not for the boxing purists like you, but for some people, right, who are working at going from being a fanboy to actually a student of boxing. These fights can be hard to watch sometimes by yourself, right, even with the commentary, no matter how good and how bad it is sometimes. But, you know, I hope this has helped you watch this entire fight in its entirety, you know, so you actually get the idea of how, instead of you just watching the highlights, right, and watching the clips that different people will post of DURAN doing his, you know, trapping and things like that, or Leonard doing whatever random thing. I feel like DURAN's been more of the person that people have liked to mystify and glorify. He's also just a more intimidating character, but doesn't mean he's any less or more of a great fighter. Good swinging there by Leonard. Going for broke, man. It's a line that I say a lot, man. Go for broke with those punches sometimes. Go for broke. And a guy like Leonard, where, you know, this is the last round, and at this point you are losing the fight, you do need to go for broke. You're not going to be cute boxer here for the last round and win. So you might as well. And this is where Ray developed more power in his time as a pro, and as he got bigger. But also as he learned to sit down more on his punches, quote unquote. Good turn there by DURAN. Again, DURAN doing the turn the way you should do it, turning with the right arm. Man, working with a guy, you know, comes up to me and he was trying to turn people with the opposite arm of the direction he's going. I was trying to show him, and he got it. You're just turning people to face you. See, DURAN walks him back to the rope. Good move there by DURAN. Owning the ring. The 1-2 by Leonard pushes him back. And again, oh, they're good turns there by Leonard. Wow. Man. Right, this is where you say, what a fight. What endurance on these guys. And see that? Was that a feint? That hard feint, I think it was. Yep. See how DURAN just leans so hard down because he's expecting an explosion. Boom. Almost gets caught. Lean so far down he doesn't get caught. But again, it can be a problem. It can be a problem. This is where it's funny, where DURAN, you see the emotion, right? You know, the passion is good and important, but he's like, you didn't win that fight because, you know, And it's like, dude, you won that fight, but that tells you that, you know, there's something going on in his mind, right? He's a little bit, he got a little something going on. All right, let me pull this back. Bam. All right, so now let's jump into the rematch, okay, as we go into hour 2 of this. All right. With this fight, 72 wins, 1 loss. So at this point, he's still only a loss to Jesus, I think it is. All right. And here's Leonard. All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna, just to make sure we have all of the space we need, hopefully. Okay, boom. Let's get into this one. The rematch. All right, some people said because I want to make sure I didn't like say anything that I was told wrong or maybe misremembered. Some people say that they feel like Leonard had Duran take this fight too soon, because Leonard and Don King or whatever would know that, or Angelo and Dundee, I don't know who, but anyway, somebody and some who would knew that Duran would fatten up after his fights, and then therefore have a hard weight cut, and therefore be drained. Okay, and they were acting like that was, at least like I saw on the internets, acting like that wasn't fair. Well, 2 things. One is Duran won the first fight, so he kind of has the right to be like, no, I'll wait longer, right? Because that's a win he has in his arsenal. So, you know, he's the champion at that point, you know, in the eyes of the public and everything else. So he can set the rules. Number 1. Number 2, that's Duran's responsibility. You're acting like it's a fact of nature that he has to fatten up after a fight and be undisciplined. You don't have to do that. Okay? He could have been a greater fighter if he wouldn't have done that. Right? He was great in spite of it. And that's what people forget. Okay, now let's look at this fight. So the fight plan going into this, I don't know what the hell the fight plan was going into the first one, but whatever it was, I'm sure Leonard probably didn't completely follow it. But you see Leonard bouncing light on the feet, lateral movement, feet are close together, right? Because that's what you got to do if you're going to be a good mover. You got to have your feet close together. Don't be so damn wide, right? Lateral movement, bouncing, nice and loose, and he's not even trying to tie him up at this point. See, he's doing the circle movement, and there he comes in with a combination. So this is what I like a lot. I like this a lot. So we see Duran do his charge right here. Duran does the same old charge that he does, right? Okay, so Leonard's okay, you got a little bit on me. So he's here, still bouncing, and he gets a little attack going. And Duran actually ties him up, shuts him down. Because Duran thinks, oh no, I'm sorry, Leonard ties him up. Excuse me. But again, Duran is complicit in the tie-up, reaching his arms out. But the key is with lateral movement. With a guy like Duran, if you move in straight lines back, he can get you. He can catch you while he comes in. It's similar to how Tyson is. But if you move laterally, like Leonard's doing, with the in and out lateral movement and the speed and the timing, you'll be successful. You know, this fight has this video has a weird bounce to it. We're going to pull up the other one, which is a little bit lower quality. Not by too much. But this doesn't bounce to it. Maybe that's just my recorder going on here or whatever. Okay. So here, let's go here. Let's see here. Oh, it's a rough looking video. Don't worry, I'll get it to the best it can be. Lord have mercy. Is it really this rough? Okay. Let me see this a little bit more smooth action. Ooh, it's a rough video. Okay. But we can see the choppiness, no bueno. No good on the choppiness. Okay, well, we'll make it smaller just to not make you want to gouge your eyes out so badly. Okay, cool. There we go. Alright. and it still makes you want to gouge your eyes out. But there it is with the attack. Leonard does wrap him up, spins him, gets back in the center of the ring. Right, good ring generalship right there. Going back to moving, because again, he has either 12 or 15 rounds to do this. But see, good again where Duran starts the attack. It's good. We have to even see the details. And Leonard steps back and off to the side, which makes the bull rush hard. Now, the thing that supposedly Angelo Dundee saw going into this fight was that Duran tends to be a heel stepper. Said in another way, I mean, besides the fact he steps with his heel, is he lunges in. And if you lunge in, you know, a lunge can only occur in a straight line. It's hard to lunge in and to the side and cut someone off. And also when you lunge in, you smother yourself. You allow yourself to get countered as you lunge in, but then also you get too close, as I talked about in the previous fight. By the way, the announcement of the decision in the last fight, oh man, great counter there by Mr. Leonard. So here, Duran's thinking about coming in. Leonard goes 3 for the body, goes 2 over the top. And Duran tries to get more on it, and he catches him more. 3-2, boom, steps off to the side. Duran's trying to come in. Good attack here, going southpaw with the jab here. And then Leonard walks him into a left hand. Boom. I believe also a right hook. And then cuts off again. It's great stuff here by Leonard. Showing his superior boxing ability as far as versatility and movement. The 3-2, boom, boom, steps over here. 3, steps over that way. And see, that's the type of stuff you do against a guy like Duran. And then he shuts him down. And he doesn't have to even tie him up. He could just go back in the center of the ring, right? If you want to do this in a way that doesn't infringe the rules at all, you just go back to the center of the ring like he is right now. Because also sustaining that type of attack is going to be very hard for Duran if you want to keep on coming. And again, we don't need to see the detail in this fight. You can see the overall pictures. See there, Duran falls in with the right hand, the big right hand, falls in, ends up completely square, right into Leonard's arms. And again, we can make all the arguments as I would make when I box, right? Or when I also start coaching boxers. He's tying up. Well, hey, how about we do things that don't allow him to tie up? Because the ref's not always going to be on your side. And, you know, your opponent doesn't always cooperate with you the way you want him to. See, Duran's trying to cut down that ring. But again, leaning off to the side, extending his arms out as he comes in, which makes the tie-up all too available. Don't worry, we get a reward as far as clarity in the third fight. So again, you watch it here. He gets in, too close. And that's where Leonard is close to the rope, but he's not so close. So Duran expected him to go all the way back to the rope. He didn't. He stood right there, threw a couple shots, tied him up, doing some short shots on the inside as Duran has his arms around Leonard as well. Man, good counter there by Leonard. So a little bit out of range of Duran's right hand. Then Duran shoots his big left hook. Leonard, boom, shoots that right hand. And this is where in the previous fight, because of range and being in tight, because Leonard looped some of his shots, you see where he shot the counter from. Right there. He wound it up, trying to make it power, but him winding shots like that made him pay in the last fight. So something to be careful for as well. You know, as I'm talking all good about Leonard, we got to watch for the things, you know, the little telltale mistakes and things that can be exploited on him. But again, he does have the gift of speed, the gift of reflexes, the gift of feet, good fast jab, snapping the head of Roberto. Good counter right there on the fall-in right hand by Duran. Falls in, boom, gets the right hand hook for the body, right uppercut for the body rather, excuse me. So here Duran falls in with the right hand, boom! Oh, man. And against a guy that's not as tough as an SOB as Duran, yeah, you might just hurt him with that. Boom. Okay, so that initial thing, he didn't land the 3 to the body. Boom. He kind of took it away because he didn't know it was, he could tell it wasn't going to land. Then the left, the right, misses. Again, it's so hard to see with these films. Even the film was slightly better quality. But see, again, at this point in the fight, when your opponent comes in with an adjustment, an obvious adjustment, I mean, goodness, did Duran think that this guy was going to try to fight him like he did the last fight? He must have thought he was Tonto. But, you need to be ready for these adjustments. Now there, Duran tried to do a feint before he came in, but the problem is he wasn't ready. And that's one thing that we do sometimes off of feints, is we're not ready for the retaliation to the feint. Sometimes when you feint someone thought you were attacking or throwing a punch, they'll pull the trigger on the counter. We can get hit by the counter. All right, so that's where a little bit harder feints sometimes, and then no attack by Duran, and then sometimes he can do the bull rush. But also the bull rush has to be a little bit more thoughtful. Double, triple jabs, the 1-3, right, like he did in the previous fight, landed brilliantly, and he could still land this against Leonard, all right? But he has to be a little bit more, a little more patient, right? But again, the footwork by Leonard is excellent, and the timing. Duran definitely can't lead with big shots, trying to come after a guy like that. And if anything, sometimes jabbing to the chest and the body and throwing for the body is going to be beneficial. So that was good. But again, the problem is we can't get that close. You can't get that close. He gets that close, then you get tied up, and then you get spun, right? It's much easier to do that against a guy that's too close. Good fast jab by Leonard. And again, Leonard could be peppering more with a jab. Good, nice. But he's poised and ready for the attacks like that. That was a great, he did let Duran bull rush him back, but Duran got too close, Duran reached out with his own arms, like that, as he falls in with his head. Leonard turns him around, goes back in the set. Now Duran got the better of that one. So see, again, Leonard kind of fell into a moment of that trap of trying to be overly aggressive with Duran. No. No, because that's his style. And the one thing you can say is that Duran did not have a wide arsenal of attacks. Leonard was able to go from boxing to walking somebody down when he had to. Duran is a little bit more just kind of a little bit one mode. But again, if the mode works, the majority of the time, it works. Again, good work at, it's hard to tell if it landed, but the attempt, boom, boom. Duran comes with the big right hand. He's coming with the big right hand. And Leonard comes with that right uppercut, goes right for the spin. And again, looking to spin off the ropes. Yep. Tight combos, spin off the ropes. Boom, boom, boom. Probably slapping some of those. And then right back to the bicycle. Getting himself some more space in the ring. Making the referee work. And again, leaning in with the head, you'll have guys push down on you. Hey, welcome to boxing. If you're in the amateurs and you lean in with your head like that, you're going to have a ton of guys, just like Leonard, pushing you down like this. And see, this is where you wouldn't see a ton of that before this era, but Leonard does it in this era, and people do it much, much afterwards. And you can't afford the deep bends at the waist so much, especially when you're trying to be aggressive. Especially when you're going against a slick guy. And again, if they don't have answers for it, whatever. Keep doing it. But if they're giving you answers for it, and that's all you do, or that's what you tend to do, you got to watch out for it. See, there, Leonard catches him rushing in, and Duran is the one reaching. Leonard has an arm reached, but then Duran reaches out initially. Good little uppercuts by Leonard. And see, again, that's where Duran, as he attacks, if he would take a little step back here and there, attack, little half step back, attack, little half step back, it would mess up Leonard's plan. Along with having a little bit more of a concise attack, where it's not a bull rush that, at least according to Dundee, and I definitely do see some heel stepping by Leonard, which again, I mean by Duran, which is, it is what it is. He's walking here, trying to watch for the rushes on the heel step. Not too much, but at the very end of the day, it's a lunge, which no matter if you hit with the ball, the foot, or the heel, it's going to cost you more time. You can't change directions, and you get countered. 2 punches while you're still gliding through the air.
And now, expresses it musically himself.
Duran tried to get that counter right hand because Leonard was a little bit close, but Leonard got enough space. Ooh. And you can tell, who has the power. Obviously, it's Duran. See, again, the attack, it's just a little too slow, a little too ponderous. Where a fleet-footed fighter like Leonard, who's developed all this ability from the amateurs, can just do that to you. Great little sequence here. Jab, pull, boom. Right, jab, pull back, jab. Couple punches. Spin as your guy falls in on you. Smart fight. And that's one thing that, you have to give Leonard. He was a smart fighter. He's a very smart fighter. You want to watch a smart fighter? Watch Sugar Ray Leonard. The 1-2. And again, Duran. Greatness, legend. But there's holes with both of these guys. There's holes with every fighter. There's holes with whoever you want to list as the greatest fighter in the history of boxing. There's holes. Because again, if you want to be an elite level fighter, and you get in the habit of being fanboy and talking about how guys don't have holes, guess what you're going to do? You're going to believe that the top guy, as you start climbing, doesn't have any holes either, and you're going to respect him too much. Everybody's beatable. Everybody. Good lateral movement hard by Leonard with the guard up. That's another thing too. Is people, they tend to move laterally. They'll drop the hands out and things like that. He keeps it up because he's expecting the headshot. Doesn't want to get caught by anything stupid. He got caught there by Duran's nice jab. Boom. But see again, so Duran, beautiful jab, and he falls in. Let's do a beautiful jab and not fall in. Do something else. And see, Duran is just a little bit, well, no, excuse me. As I was going to talk crap about it, he is cutting down the ring. Doing it slowly but surely. One thing, too, is not only walking to someone closer to the corners, which is what he needs to do against a guy like Leonard, and there he gets the ropes, but then we just can't get too close because then it's too easy to spin out. You got to keep a little bit of range on him. But he needs to try to maneuver him to the corner. And part of that might be by throwing maybe shots on one side continually or more often to get him to avoid it, right? If, let's say, Duran does a lot of 1-3s, 1-1-3s, right? Then it will help encourage Leonard to move to Leonard's left side, Duran's right side. And that he can use to steer him into a corner. Now, if you'll notice, though, nice, that Leonard tends to have pretty good success moving to the right side, all right? So that'd be one way to discourage him as well from moving to that side. Okay, and then you only got one side to worry about, which is the way Leonard's moving right now, and that you can, kind of meet him ahead of time to the corner. Slip and a fall on that. Oh yeah, now I remember too. In this fight, the ring had an issue. Right? This is in New Orleans, and if you watch here, there's a point right about, like maybe in front of Duran's corner. like between the middle of the ring and Duran's corner, where there's like a board that fell through or fell out of place, and it's bouncing, and that's problematic, man. Problematic for Ray. For some reason I forgot about that. But that's something as well. Is that think about you're Leonard. Your job in this fight, is to outmaneuver Duran. Now he's getting stuck on the ropes a little bit. Doesn't even need to be there. Doesn't need to be there. These are the mistakes of last time. But you'll see the ring buckle in those areas. Sometimes, man, I guess even if you're at a freaking world championship level, the ring's not going to cooperate with you. It can happen, and you'll be able to deal with that. But yeah, on this crap right there, you can see. Watch Leonard's feet on the star right here. Boom. See that hard dip of the ring? Yeah, man, screwed up ring. And when you're trying to do what Leonard's doing, there he goes right back to it. But then he tries to avoid it a little bit better throughout the rest of the fight, for however long it lasts. Good change of lateral movement right here. And that's one thing to remember. When you're looking to just move laterally, you can be a little bit more square. Again, that suits so feet close together, but a little more square along the ropes, so you can step off to the side. That was a good attempt at a combination there. Nice quick combination by Duran. But then again, the only mistake that I would say is that he just got a little bit too close to the end. He needs to go back to the jab and keep a little bit of range, maybe half step back with a jab. That would be the solution to the predicament. Good 1-3 attempt by Duran. Leonard's back to his bounce and his bicycle. And think about how he's setting the territory where the fight is, because Duran's trying to keep up to him, trying to cut him down. But Leonard has that movement down. Oh, and moving, runs him into a left hook. Here, boom. Nice, right when you hit that rope. That's a very important thing to practice. Right when you hit that rope, boop, back, like that. You feel that back, your back hit the rope, you feel your back calf hit the rope. Shoot a shot. Now there, you could say Duran was trying to do what I was saying to do. He's trying to do those lefts, doubling up on a side. A little bit flaily with the left. Trying to think about what was Duran's most powerful shot at right hand. I'm pretty sure it was. That shows how long it's been since I've watched a bunch of Duran fights. But, the left hook doesn't seem to be as devastating as that big right hand. But again, if the right hand is delayed, it takes too much time. It's something Leonard can avoid with the space. Good three of the body and two up top. Good rhythm established by Leonard. Jab to the body, three up top. That's a great combo right here. Jab body, three up top, two. Boom. It's kind of like a Muhammad Ali type thing. Muhammad Ali early on did jab to the body. Jabs to the body, then he jabs to the body again. Steps in with the three up top. Tries to get the right hand, and to Duran's credit, he is pretty good at avoiding the right hand by dropping below where the right hand is going. Good job throwing off the bicycle. There he stumbles, Ray does, on the part of the ring that's all jacked up, but then catches Duran coming in again. 30 seconds left to this round. Let's see if Ray turns it up a little bit in this last 30 seconds, as is his cliched habit.
There's still argument about whether it is poetry or not.
Good attempt at the 3-2. That's where also the 3-1 by Duran would be beneficial, because a guy on the bicycle like that, you got used to like a 1-3, 1-1-2, a 1-2, 1-1-1, that type of thing. Body, 1-1, right? Three of the body, three up top, 1-1, 1-1-2, that type of thing. To be able to put your own, really almost like your own bicycle to go after him. Your bicycle as the aggressor needs to be off of the jab, stepping with the jab. The bicycle of the person who is trying to evade and keep movement going and counter you coming in, they don't even need to use that jab. Sometimes they just need to use the bicycle, like Leonard is doing a lot. And then when you get close enough with your attack, they'll catch you. But when you're looking to cut somebody down using that jab, both sides, you can gain a benefit. Good work there by Leonard. Missed the right hand. See, good high level boxing, right? Missed the right hand, hook, boom. So Duran pulled from the right hand, tried to counter with the hook. Leonard went under that. Beautiful sequence there. And good jabs for the body. A little dangerous because of the right hand that could be coming for him, but I'm sure he's watching for it. Good again, jabs for the body. Leonard is working that body a lot. We freezing up here? What are we doing? I think it does freeze up here. If I remember correctly watching this fight. There we go. There's this round out. Ooh, good slip and 3 to the body, man. Beautiful, beautiful work here. Whoop, slip. Boom, 3 to the body. Duran said he quit this fight because he had cramps. Of course, Leonard is making Duran work the legs a lot, but he's also working the body, jabbing the body. Oh, did we miss the screw around part? Did we? Did it skip on the screw around part? Okay, so the classic moment. So think about it. It's one thing if a guy's fight's completely scared of you, but it's another thing he's here in the pocket connecting some shots to you as you're trying to connect your shots. You got him where you think you want him, but he's hitting you, and then he steps off. And then he clowns you a little bit like this, right? The classic highlight that we all know. Boom, right? Goofing with the right, hit him with the jab. And that is the source of frustration because now Leonard's got in his head, right? Great move right here, moving off to his right side as he does a left hook. That's a great move. Man's not expecting it. He's looking over to his left side. He's not looking at the right side, which is where that left hook is coming. And then he slips and does that body shot. And you can see by Duran's posture right now, he's frustrated as hell. Right? Making fun of the bully. Right? Making the bully feel stupid or feel embarrassed. And that's how you beat a bully. Duran is kind of a bully in that ring. Yeah, bullies don't want to look foolish. And again, that's the thing important to remember too is that this is over the long haul. Is that there's many rounds to this fight potentially, and so therefore, good job by Duran jabbing down for where Leonard was going. Knew he was jabbing to the body, jabbing down there. But it's a strategy over a longer fight to do some of these things. You can do this in a shorter fight too, but to the extent and to the pacing that Ray is doing it, it works very well for a 12 or 15 round fight. Because that's the thing too that people forget. You can take off rounds. You can take off rounds in a 12 round fight, 15 round fight. But in a 3 round fight, amateur fight, 4 round pro fight, 6 round pro fight, nah. You take off a few rounds in a 6 round pro fight. You've lost half the fight. It's a draw now, even if you win the other rounds. And if you take off a couple rounds, 2 rounds in an amateur fight, you've lost the fight for sure, unless you stop the guy. And see, again, Duran gets to where he thinks he wants to be, and you see Duran hugging. Because I know, too, guys will hug out of frustration, right? They're like, dude, I just want you close to me, right? Not in that type of way. But like, man, I want you close to me so I can hit you. And so they'll hug someone because they want to keep them in a place where they feel like they can actually do something with them. So then it works doubly against somebody, or against yourself if you have that. You don't realize it. Man, great job catching him, trying to load up that big right hand. Boom. 1-2. Step off, 1. Duran tried to come over with the right hand. And Leonard just keeping enough spacing to get the shots that he wants to get. Boom, boom. And then too close, steps off to the side. You see how Duran has trouble with that head. The head's up too high with Duran. The head goes down too low with Duran. And then there's the end of the fight. Because think about this sequence here. Well, this sequence here. Boom. He's trying to be aggressive and getting hit, turned. You know, of course, Duran's aggressing really high up. Falling in now with the right hand. And he quits. Wow. Wow. Right? Wow. And again, he came back to have many great fights after this. Okay, so, you know. And again, it shows what? You know, you can make up a whole bunch of excuses for him, but it shows he's a human being. He's not a god that you should worship. For you guys that are fanboys. I know there's no fanboys sticking around right now because this is only for the real deal people right here. And then, of course, they go on further in this to interview him and everything else and Leonard. And, you know, he talks about how much he ate after he weighed in, all sort of stuff. You know, whatever. You know, if he wouldn't have mishandled his diet, it would have been probably not a quit on his part, but it would have been a decision. Loss on his part. All right, so now here we go. We're going way later for the rematch, or the third meetup of these two gentlemen, of these two great fighters. Because again, Coach Keith is not acting like these guys aren't great. Coach Keith is not acting like he's a better fighter by any way, shape, or form, or I've ever trained anyone who's anywhere near these people's abilities. No. Boxing coach, I've studied boxing, studied the history of boxing, studied under my father, who worked with many pro fighters and, you know, was around boxing for 50 plus years before he passed, and was mentored as a coach and trained under as a fighter, Chuck Bodak, who worked with over 50 world champions, and he was the Olympic coach for Muhammad Ali. Right? So let's get into it. All right. So now, both these guys are heavier. I remember seeing Duran is at 158. That would have been big. Of course, I think Leonard fought up to light heavy, didn't he? All right. So now we see Leonard is like, okay, I found out what worked. I'm going to keep doing with what worked, right? That's a recipe for success. Keep doing what worked. If it worked, keep working, right? That's what you got to remember when you box. And when you compete at this level, pro level, or amateur level, is that if it works, keep it working. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. Have an answer. Listen to your corner. Listen to your corner. All right. So here we are. So you see, the question really, and it's up to Duran to change his tactic. That is what needs to happen, right? Is that Leonard has the answer. Like Duran beat him the first time. Leonard found the answer, create the answer. I don't know why this sucker's skipping like this, man. It's lame. But maybe we'll drop the quality a little bit, or I'll go to a smaller screen. But anyway, so Leonard has the answer now. Okay, so Duran had the answer the first time. Leonard had the answer the second time. Okay. Now, it's up to who's going to get the answer this time. All right? So that's the big old question here. We'll keep it like this. Hope you guys don't mind. So there, Leonard is stabbing the jab in there. Lateral movement. The 1-2, and to Duran's credit, he didn't fall in the same way he fell in before, so it looked like he's been working on answers. And one of the problems was the fall in. Okay? And again, if you're just fanboy, you're not gonna notice this. You see, he's not falling in with that right hand. Great progress. We'll keep it like this. Hopefully, it'll work better. By DURAN. Even though he's older, heavier, right? It's funny. Speaking about ridiculous things that people say on the internet, I saw one guy arguing that Leonard lost this fight. Man, I didn't see how that could happen. You say, oh, well, he got 55 stitches. Well, if he did get 55 stitches, I don't even know. But he did have a cut in his fight, and the cut was not from a lot. Okay? So let's watch, though. I don't want to spoil it too much before we get there. And see, Duran's trying to be a little more measured. Now, he's got to step with that jab. You notice Duran doesn't have a good masterful step with the jab. There he stepped with it, but it's not sharp. The right foot swings around. That's actually a good note here in this nice clear video. Because, again, he's older, but watch how that back foot slides around. Slides around too far. Right? Watch it again. Slide around too far. That's a problem. That plays into someone doing lateral movement on you, giving you trouble. You're not able to bring up the right foot into its proper position. Round one in the bag. All right. Here we are, round two. Told you, stick around for the last fight. Better video. All right. Good in and out movement there by Leonard. Bouncing on the feet, jabbing the body like he did in fight number 2. Jabbing the body again like he did in fight number 2. Question is, could Duran get answers for that? Of course, the answer for that typically is the right hand. Duran fell a little bit with that, but not quite as bad as he has in the other fights. I wonder if he starts going back to old habits. Because again, a fall in with the right hand can be a fine thing. Good short right there or a quick right there by Leonard. It can be a fine thing, but again, if it's used against you, man, that right foot is swinging around to the left side with Duran when he jabs. And that is a problem. And then not defending the jab. Again, he might not be able to see the jab. He's 38 years old right here. Reflexes change. Good slip and two to the body by Duran. That's what he's got to do. He's got to find ways to work the body if he can, ideally. But that problem with the jab and the swing of the right foot, that's a problem with allowing his jab to be more effective against a mover. If you're kind of just boxing somebody in the middle of the ring, yeah, you can do that all day long and get away with it. But not against someone moving like this. Because see, when that right foot swings around to that side and Leonard goes off to Leonard's left side, which is Duran's right side, it's just extra time that he can't get there. Right there. I'm sure Duran was like, I damn well I'm not going to quit in this fight. I'm not going to eat as much food as I did last time after making weight. So again, in this situation, you could say that Duran is the aggressor, and really not even, because he's not really attacking viciously like he has before. He's trying to be more measured. Good attempt there. Did he land that? It's hard to tell with the video. Leans in with the head. Let's see. Let's see. Leonard swings with that hand. Oh, blocked. Blocked. All right, round 3. Leonard, basic boxing position. Right hand looking to catch the jab. Looking to jab. Looking to move laterally. Good sided up position. When he wants to be more stationary. When he wants to move laterally. You know, he's got that position like I talked about in the last fight. Good attempt to catch him. And see, Duran's showing some more of his boxing ability. Now, when we get this close, though, you know, we need to have an answer for getting this close. You see now, Duran is not trying to tie up in that situation. The arms are going out, though, which does make it still available. It's still just a thing. Again, now he reached out with those arms right there. You know, let's just notate that. Watch Duran reach out with the arms. And again, the back foot. Watch Duran's back foot. I thought I saw it there with the jab, but it's so slight that we can't make that a good example. And again, who's holding who in that situation, right? Who's holding who? Duran's arm is wrapped around Leonard's left arm. Yeah, watch Duran's right foot as it swings around. There, it didn't swing around quite as bad, but again, he's jabbing off to the side. He's jabbing off to the side against a guy trying to move laterally away from you. You know, it's like when Sonny Liston fought Muhammad Ali. Ali moved off to Ali's left. Liston tried to jab after him, slightly going to the left. Liston's left, that is. So therefore, just create this ring around the rosy type situation. Which Leonard is frankly doing more varied movement than Ali did in that fight. Ali just did largely a lot of moving to the left. Let's see how Leonard went to dominate the center of the ring right now, at will. Did he feint before that? Maybe a little feint. 3 to the body. Notice how Duran will dive the head. Looks like he could catch him with uppercuts off that. But again, you know, maybe, yeah. He definitely does it. Both guys do on the inside. Ooh! Great counter. There he goes, loading up his big right hand. Wasn't a very good land. And again, that's the key. Good turn by Leonard. That's the key between really, now look how Leonard puts him in the corner. That's the key though between really hurting somebody and not. Obviously using the body, obviously squeezing at the end of the punch and knowing how to throw it, but hitting with the knuckles, man. You hit people with the fingers, man, it's just not going to have the same effect. Particularly with that pro wrap on, right? And those 10-ounce gloves. These are either 8 or 10. I assume since it's over 154, it's going to be 10s, but it could be 8s. Oh man, Leonard went up on him. Turns him. Seems like he got him with that left hook. Yep, got him with the left hook. Really, you know, the years have not been good to Duran, and that's where, again, for longevity's sake, you need to take care of your body for your own personal freaking sake, man. You only got one life. Let's not mess it all up by not taking care of ourselves, right? Particularly if you're in a sport as brutal as boxing is on your body and on your mind, right? Because if you're damaging your brain with maybe drinking too much alcohol and things like that, not getting proper rest, and everything else, not taking care of yourself, you're not recovering between, you know, subconcussive injuries and hard fights. You know, take a note out of the playbook of Bernard Hopkins. He had longevity. You know, one is he started a little bit later, but 2 is he really took care of himself. Tell you what, we'll after round 5, we'll skip to the end to see the resolution of this fight, because this fight is a lot of this. But right now, what you're watching so far, can you believe that some joker tried to say that Duran won this fight? Right? You can tell the timing's just off on Duran. You know, he's older, and the footwork and everything else is giving him trouble. And so all Leonard has to do is piece him up with a couple shots and not get hit with a couple shots every round, and he's got it in the bag. So, trying to say, oh, Leonard had... We'll get to that part where Leonard gets his cut. Good jab there. Feint. Nothing landed. Definitely more entertaining than the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, right? Did Duran get that? Did he get a kind of a glancing right hand? Nah, hit the shoulder. That's again the use of the jab to deflect right hands. When you hide the jaw behind the shoulder. Now Duran got that right hand. Yeah, see, Leonard doesn't have quite the same pizzazz on his combos. Shut down. Okay, we'll finish this round out, and then we'll skip ahead a few rounds, and then we'll close it out for this fight study of the trilogy. If you've been enjoying this, guys, make sure you drop a like, a comment, a super thanks, buy me a cup of coffee because I'm doing this late at night. Man, I was looking to hit 3 hours, but I haven't hit 3 hours. We'll be probably hitting a little bit over 2. All right. We'll skip a little bit ahead. Here the old Duran comes, but again, the old Duran that leads in with the head. It's going to be problematic. Okay, let's pick it up here. What is this? Round number 9. We'll pick it up round number 9. All right. And again, that's where, Leonard, to his credit, and what you have to remember, this is not always about being entertaining, right? Sometimes you can fight in a way that people can say is a boring fight, but at the end of the day, if it wins, that is the first job. Now, the second job of a good fighter is to be entertaining, because you're going to sell more tickets, create more buzz. Now, the question is, how do you make yourself entertaining, right? Do you make yourself entertaining by, in ways like Muhammad Ali would, by putting on a show and talking a lot of crap and being a character? Do you do it by being a powerful puncher? Do you do it, in ways with your performance? Do you do it with your defense and your way to avoid losing, like Mayweather did, where he was the bad guy and everyone paid to see him lose? Same with Jake Paul. Not on the defense part with Jake Paul, but just on the fact that he puts himself as a bad guy, so people pay to try to see him lose. It's entertainment sports, right? So it is legitimate sport. It's a real sport, but it's entertainment, right? And if you only just win and do it in the most boring way possible, which is not always what Leonard did, don't get me wrong, but he's older here, then it, you're not going to really have a lot of notoriety. Good luck getting signed. Promoters, they want to sign people that are marketable. And if you're boring as hell, you're not marketable. Now, there's some guys out there right now that are boring as hell, and I think they got some favors. Ooh, good 1-2 there by Leonard. They got some favors from some people that they know, and that's why they're big there. Good. We lined up the jab. He lined up the great jab, or the good jab. Boom. Right on the tip of the jaw. Look at that. Controlled the head. And then the cane to the blind man. He knows right where the right hand is. Boom. And he gets it lined up with the knuckles when it hits, right? So he actually arcs it from up here. Look at that. From here, arcs it up and chops it down a little bit to get the right hand. It goes under, or almost under the hook, tries to come back with the left, and it kind of got partially blocked there by Duran, and Duran goes to reach out, and Leonard goes to hold. Ooh, that was nice. See, it took a little bit for the old guys to get to it, but now it's getting somewhere. Gets the left hook inside of the wide uppercut style shot of DURAN. Let's watch that again. So here, DURAN shoots he tries the right uppercut, catches him inside of it. Oh, there he goes, Sugar Ray, looking like Sugar Ray Robinson. Oh yeah, I guess he got stitches in his mouth because he got cut in his mouth. So maybe he got 55 stitches, but I mean, come on. The guy ain't getting hit that much. Boom! And again, look at it, guys. Look at the great, what a top level, all-time great fighter, how he lands his hooks. Do you land your hooks like that? Palm facing you, hitting with the knuckles? I hope you do. And if you don't, do it from now on. Boom. Nice. Man, I didn't listen to this with sound, but it must be cold out there. Got them all covered up. That's cool. I love it, man. I love that. I don't consider this an old school fight. I mean, it technically is, but this one. But man, I love the old school, covering them all up, keeping them warm, because this fight is outside, I believe. DURAN looked to counter with the hook, but that's where Leonard was just showing the right hand. That's again, DURAN's a great. Is he setting up something? Goes for that 3 to the body. Leonard kept on throwing that right hand like he was going to be setting up something. I wonder if it was the 3 to the body. So we are in round number 9. And again, if anything, Leonard's the one changing up little nuances to what he's doing. And DURAN, not much. Not much. Hit by the right hand. And again, that's where DURAN typically goes for that default of pulling from shots. You can be lined up right for a punch if you typically pull. You have to have other arsenals to your defense. Particularly as you get older, too. Relying on the pulls, typically, as you get older, it's going to be problematic, man. Again, think about good, great, old fighters, that were older in their career and were successful. Guys who relied on pulling got caught a lot. DURAN tries to get the left uppercut off Leonard going for the body. And see, feinting, seeing how a guy responds. That's what Leonard's doing. Feinting, seeing how he responds. Jab. You'd be better off just sometimes jabbing, doubling the jab, and continue to control the fight. Good through the body, coming back up top. He rushed a lot of that, but it was a good sequence. See, something's wrong here with my thingamajig. Pull back here a couple. Yeah, not the most clean shots. A little bit frantic. Yeah, definitely didn't land a good hook there. Hit him down low, right? Right? How low was that shot? Uber low. If you notice, the referee's on the other side. If you are going to hit someone low, hit them low on the opposite side of the referee. But see, Leonard's not going to engage when DURAN wants to engage. And you can sense that with someone you're going against. Leonard goes for the right hand, almost gets it clean. He got it, but it just wasn't super clean. But because you see, DURAN's relying on the leaning back. All right. going round number 11. 2 more rounds to finish this trilogy. I would say it's not a great trilogy in the sense that the 2 first fights, right, were the real things. And this is why this fight is often forgotten, because it's not a lot of much, you know. And that's why I condense it down to 7 or so rounds. But it is important to see, again, both these guys are human beings. They're not gods to be worshipped. Do not have false idols. Good jab there by Leonard. You see how Leonard will also just walk off too. That's something very effective move to just change position. We don't always see there he goes walking off, and you can say, oh, don't cross the feet. It's not a problem. Good, good little counter there by Leonard. Boom, man. Like a short like left cross style. Now that's a palm facing down hook, right? Good, nice tight shot. Shot it while he walked over to the right side, like we saw in the earlier fight. And there goes DURAN holding. And again, you know, who's winning this fight from what you can see, right? It's pretty obvious for people that are not fanboys of either guy, right? See what you can learn from both guys. You know, obviously, it's probably not the best opportunity to do that with DURAN with this fight, but you know, we saw it with the first fight. But again, styles make fights. Against an American-style fighter like Leonard, he's going to do certain things, which are going to nullify certain things that you do as a roughhouse-style boxer. Hit him so hard, I guess, that it freaking knocked out the TV. Old school TV. Don't you miss that? The rainbow colors. Just those rainbow colors, not the other ones. And there goes Lena with the right hand. And DURAN's looking for that that left hook counter that he got before off of Leonard, but the timing isn't there. Do we skip back? We skip back. Let's go back and pull back. Let's go to, what are we at? Oh, we're going to go to the round, I think this is the round where Leonard gets cut, because Leonard's not cut yet. Round number 11. Forgive me if we were already here. I'm getting delirious as we're going later in this fight. Notice how Leonard slips as he jabs to the body, right? That's a good position. We don't want to jab to the body while staying upright. There Leonard holds. But again, it's up to DURAN to attack. He's the one behind in this fight. Leonard's holding the back of the head. Steele could say something about that. Padilla did. Good jab. I feel like I saw that jab earlier. Were we already watching round number 11? Blah. Yeah, we already watched this round. This far back into the round. Let's go a little further. Closer to the end of it. Good jab there by Leonard. Maybe I missed where Leonard got cut already. But see again, DURAN with that head popping up. Got to be careful with that, because that's how you can get hit clean. Ooh, there it was. Yeah, so it almost looked like it was Leonard that landed the shot. But what it was, see, I'm starting to doubt myself. Right on that eye, he got that right hand off and slipped his head offline. You got to give DURAN big credit for it. That is an example of DURAN's boxing ability, right? Coming out, the old master, man. The old master. Boom. Right there. Now, you can't make the argument, though, that he hits him there If he would have hit him with the tip of the jaw, it could have been better, right? Could have really hurt Leonard. But granted, Duran doesn't have the same power at this size. But that opened up a cut on Ray's eye in round number 11. So you see it bleeding already. And that's where the job of a good cut man comes in. By the way, let me know if you want me to do a video on how to be a cut man, because I've been a cut man for quite a few pro fights, and that was one of my father's specialties, and one of Chuck Bodak's specialty is being a cut man. So if you want to know how to be a proficient cut man, let me know in the comments if you're watching this far into this video, because if there's a need for that information, I'd love to give that information out from real world experience, not crap that was learned from a Wikipedia article. All right. Yeah, and you see here, oops, go back a little bit. I already showed it to you, but you see here it was from a punch, not from like a head clash or anything else like that. Bam. Tough to Ray to take it. Here we go for the last round, all right? So it's a big glob of Vaseline, but if you can get away with the big glob, great. But it's up to Duran, man, to get it. He's got to, at this point in this fight, it's up to Duran to take this man out of here. And he doesn't have the youth to do it, doesn't have the legs to do it, doesn't have the attack to do it either, or the right strategy to do it at this time. Good job with the double jab. But that's where Ray, he probably knows he's ahead on the card, so you just box and move. Don't take any chances, particularly with that cut. Also, as you get older, in my opinion, from what I've seen, you cut easier. That's where, again, you try to make an argument that, Duran damaged him so much. He's just older. If anything, he got hit less in this fight than he did in that first fight. I mean, obviously. Excuse me. But he wasn't as cut up. See, a lot of times Duran just leans in a little bit. And the weight's on the front leg a lot. And that's problematic. We got to be aggressive and keep our weight back a little bit. And it will allow us, when we want to lean in, but not to be automatically leaned in. That therefore our head comes over our feet. We get pushed down and things like that. Hitting the 2-hour mark here on the last minute. Sorry, 2 hours and 3 minutes into this video. On the last minute of the last fight of this trilogy. They saw Leonard getting a 2-1 against Duran. A smaller Duran, to be clear. See, Leonard's in no danger at this point. He knows that Duran doesn't have, as Teddy Atlas would say, the delivery mechanism, right? Almost does, but again, not the power to at this size. He hit Leonard with that right hand, That's where it could have been a big mistake by Leonard if Duran was able to land a little bit differently. And to Duran's credit, he's not quitting, right? Got to give the man credit with that as well. Because Leonard would like to humiliate him the same way. That's the thing is, Leonard had the nice guy act, but he was a fierce competitor. And the fight is resolved. And of course, you can guess who won that fight. Well, let's look at this. Not that this is always the best metric, but landed 227 to 84. Right? Now again, to be clear, that could be one round that was like a shutout, and then therefore you could still lose a fight, right? You need to know that with CompuBox, right? People don't seem to understand that it's not about totality of punches landed in a fight is who won. It tends to be like in this case, it tends to be the person that won, but you can have situations where there's fights where one guy outlanded the other guy by 20 punches, but he did that in one round. But then in the majority of the other rounds, he far underlanded and therefore lost more rounds than the other guy did. All right? Okay, guys. That wraps it up here for this fight study of Leonard versus Duran. the trilogy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a drop a super thanks. Buy me a cup of coffee because it's late as hell. Comment below, like, subscribe. Appreciate your support, guys. Watch out for the next video. And this was a lot of fun. And I hope this was a great way for you to revisit through history if you haven't already, or to dive back in again and, maybe hear some different perspectives. Appreciate you.